Today on The Big Picture, Gretchen Carlson lashes out, a former climate change skeptic discovers the truth, and Beck's non-political revival was political after all. Welcome to The Big Picture, I'm Walid Zafar. As you may have heard, Glenn Beck held some sort of rally on the National Mall last weekend. He tried to make it all about religion and of course his own massive ego, but politics managed to sneak its way in.
The Black Robe Regiment is back again today. Go to your churches, your synagogues, your mosque, anyone that is not preaching hate and division.
This isn't Christian. This has to be everybody, and it cannot ever be made about politics. If it's about politics, it's worthless.
If my church started to preach who to vote for, oh, the Republicans are better than the Democrats or vice versa, I would also leave my church on that.
Turns out some in the Black Robe Regiment have done exactly that. As Media Matters reported, James Dobson has a history of using the pulpit to tell people whom to vote for. His Alliance Defense Fund has challenged IRS rules prohibiting tax-exempt churches from engaging in partisan politics. Beck even promoted an ADF event on air. Yet another bit of hypocrisy from the master himself.
He also talked about the formation of this black-robed regiment.
Yeah.
Well, this comes straight from the Revolutionary War. What's weird about this is, again, we have this language of revolution, as though the man who is in the White House is somehow not there correctly.
Next up, environmental writer Bjorn Lomborg is dropping a bombshell, reportedly coming out in favor of aggressively tackling climate change. Because of his past skepticism, Lomborg used to be one of the right-wing's favorite scientists.
Our next guest's new book debunks numerous popular myths about global warming. Joining us now is Bjorn Lomborg.
He says global warming shouldn't be at the top of the list of the world's problems.
Okay, it's going to be a problem, but not a catastrophe.
I used to be a worried member of Greenpeace, think that everything was coming to an end. But actually, the data, the facts tell you that many, many things are moving in the right direction.
Global warming, the debate continues.
He has a new book coming out next month, and he reportedly joins the vast majority of the scientific community. He calls climate change a chief concern facing the world today and advocates spending $100 billion to address it. He even wants a global tax on carbon emissions. The only question that remains is how the right-wing media will react to its now former favorite climate change skeptic, or if they'll just ignore him. If you were watching Fox and Friends on Tuesday, you might have seen something rare, a tough interview. Gretchen Carlson seemed to physically change, putting on her serious face and harping on Robert Gibbs while she defended President Bush's record. Watch.
Will President Obama credit President Bush tonight in his speech for the success in Iraq?
Again, Gretchen, I think you've asked me this question twice, and I've given you an answer.
Well, this is the first time I've asked you the question. Will President Obama thank President Bush tonight during his speech for the success of the surge?
No, that's actually now the fourth time you've asked me that question.
Well, you haven't answered it. Will he credit President Bush tonight
Gretchen,
for the success of the surge?
That's number 5. Let me give you the same answer I gave you the first time.
In baseball, you get 3 strikes and you're out. You've had 5 chances to answer the question. Will he credit President Bush tonight?
Gretchen,
So why is that rare? Watch what happens when the Fox and Friends crew interviews Republican candidates. See if you can spot the subtle differences.
Well, Nikki, you were also lucky because Governor Sarah Palin, she selected just a handful of candidates to endorse. You were one of them. Have you spoken to her since your win? If you did, what was the conversation like?
One of the things I wanted to ask you was, how much are you looking forward to taking on Barbara Boxer come this November?
If pointing out legitimate questions to legitimate policies is annoying, you certainly are that. Congressman Issa, congratulations on your new title. You've earned it.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Always great.
His opponent, Grayson, is saying Fox News is to blame for all his problems at this point.
In what way?
Well, because he says you're asking softball questions to Rand Paul, you're firing up the Tea Party movement.
They still call themselves a news organization. Hard to believe. And don't forget, the new book by Media Matters senior fellow Will Bunch went on sale this week. It's called The Backlash: Right-Wing Radicals, High-Def Hucksters, and Paranoid Politics in the Age of Obama. You get it on Amazon or your local bookstore. Thanks for watching The Big Picture. We'll see you next week.